The evening sun gently dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a soft orange hue. The city exhaled in calm silence as people strolled through the streets, arms full of shopping bags, their faces lit with quiet laughter. Expensive cars lined the roads, and the world moved quickly, as if everyone had somewhere urgent to be. Among the crowd walked a man named Johnson. His steps were slow, his shoulders slightly hunched. He wore a faded shirt, dusty trousers, and worn-out sandals that had clearly seen better days. Sweat clung to his brow, and exhaustion was written across his face. As he approached a luxurious five-star hotel in the heart of the city, passers-by gave him puzzled looks, wondering what a man like him could possibly want there. Inside the hotel, golden lights sparkled off the polished marble floors, and the air was filled with the scent of fresh flowers. Soft music floated in the background. Guests in designer suits and elegant gowns mingled, their laughter delicate, their perfumes expensive. But the moment Johnson stepped inside, silence followed him like a shadow. The hotel manager, a man named Mr. Desmond with a prideful posture and sharp suit, strode toward him, his shoes echoing loudly against the marble. "Excuse me, sir," he said, halting Johnson. "This is a five-star hotel. You're clearly in the wrong place." Johnson offered a calm smile. "I'm not lost. I'd like a room for the night." Desmond raised an eyebrow, shocked. "Here? Do you even know what it costs to stay here?" "Yes," Johnson replied simply. "And I can pay." Desmond burst into laughter, drawing the attention of others in the lobby. "You? Pay for a room here?" he scoffed. "Look at you. This place is for the wealthy, not for people like you." "I have the money," Johnson said, his voice steady. Desmond stepped closer, eyeing him with disdain. "If you have money, you must have stolen it. There's no way someone like you could afford even a night here. Not in this life or the next." A few staff nearby chuckled quietly. Johnson's smile faded, but he didn't argue. Instead, he looked around once more, turned, and walked away. Desmond called after him, "If you don't leave right now, I'll call the police." Outside, the cool evening breeze brushed against Johnson's weary face. He paused, unsure of where to go. Then a soft voice called out from behind him. "Sir, wait." He turned and saw a young woman in a cleaner's uniform holding a small bag. Her face looked just as tired as his, but her eyes held warmth. Her name was Charity. "I saw what happened in there," she said gently. "I just finished my shift. I'm really sorry." "You work here?" Johnson asked, surprised by her kindness. She nodded. "Not for much longer. They treat us cleaners like we're invisible." Johnson gave a faint smile. "It seems they treat anyone who doesn't look rich the same way." She studied him for a moment. "Do you have a place to stay tonight?" He shook his head. "I'll figure something out." "My place is small," she offered. "But it's safe. Warm too. My mother's sick, and I take care of her alone. You didn't harm anyone, yet they treated you like dirt. Please, let me help." Johnson was stunned. This girl had so little, yet she was offering him comfort. "What's your name?" he asked. "Charity," she said, smiling. "My mother named me that. She said I'd be someone's miracle one day." "Thank you, Charity," he whispered, touched. They walked through quiet streets until they reached her neighborhood, far from the city lights. Her home was a simple two-room structure built with bricks and love. Inside, an elderly woman lay coughing softly on a thin mat. "This is my mother," Charity said. "Mama, this is a friend. He needs a place to rest." Her mother gave a weak smile and nodded. "Any friend of Charity is welcome." Charity served Johnson a plate of rice and beans. It wasn't much, but he ate gratefully. Later, she laid out a mat for him to sleep on. As he lay down, Johnson looked around. There were no fancy walls or gold decorations here. Just peace, kindness, and genuine care. Something the five-star hotel didn't offer. He closed his eyes, murmuring to himself, "Tonight, I met an angel in a cleaner's uniform." Morning light filtered through the small window as birds sang softly outside. Johnson opened his eyes and stretched gently on the mat. For the first time in days, he had slept soundly. No harsh words, no cold floors, just the quiet kindness of a stranger's home. Charity was already awake, standing by the fire, warming water and preparing breakfast. Her mother rested quietly nearby under a thin wrapper. "Good morning," she said with a smile. "Good morning, Charity," Johnson replied warmly. "Thank you again for everything. I've never been treated so kindly by someone I just met." She stirred the pot and smiled softly. "We don't have much, but kindness costs nothing." He nodded. "Do you live here alone with your mother?" "Yes. My father was a bus driver. He died when I was 12. Since then, it's just been us. Mama's been sick for 3 years now. I work at the hotel to buy her medicine and food." Johnson sat beside her on a small stool. "That must be difficult." "It is," she replied quietly. "But I don't complain. I believe things will change. So I keep working. And hoping." She served him a warm bowl of pap, sweet and comforting. He ate slowly, still amazed by how much love he felt in such a humble place. In a grand hotel, he was thrown out like a nobody. But here in a home with cracked walls, he was welcomed like family. "I don't understand," Johnson said after a pause. "Why did you help me?" "You don't even know me." Charity looked at him with calm eyes. "Because someone once helped me. When Mama first got sick, we were crying on the roadside. A stranger gave us money for the hospital. We never saw him again. Since then, I promised I'd help others, even if I had little." Johnson felt a lump rise in his throat. "What's your dream?" "To be a nurse," she said, staring into the fire. "I want to care for people like they cared for Mama. But I had to stop school. I needed to work." Johnson studied her quietly. She had nothing, yet gave everything. No complaints. No self-pity. A heart richer than many he had met in the wealthiest circles. After breakfast, Johnson stood. "Charity, I have to go now." She looked at him worried. "Where will you go?" "There are things I need to take care of. But I'll return. You've shown me more love than any hotel ever could." She smiled, but there was sadness in it, as if unsure they'd meet again. "I hope you find what you're looking for." "I already have," he said gently. He walked away slowly, the dust rising behind him. Charity stood watching until he was gone. In the city, Johnson changed back into his real clothes. His driver was waiting nearby, exactly where he had left him. Silently, he got into the car and headed back to his mansion. The tall gates opened to reveal a stunning home with gardens and rows of luxury cars. His assistant rushed to him. "Sir, we were worried. Where have you been?" "I was doing a test," Johnson replied. "And I found my answer." He went straight to his office and picked up the phone. "Call the lawyer." Prepare the documents. I'm buying Royal Gold Hotel. The same one that... Yes. The one where I was insulted. And start a background check on the manager, Mr. Desmond. I want a full report. He'll face consequences. After the call, Johnson leaned back in his chair. He wasn't angry. He wanted to make a point. Kindness matters. Then he picked up his phone and called Charity. Her gentle voice answered. Hello? Good evening, Charity. What will you be doing tomorrow? There was a pause. Taking Mama to the hospital. She's been feeling worse. Johnson's tone grew tender. Which hospital? Hope Medical Center. Her kidneys are failing. They said she needs a transplant, but we can't afford it. If something isn't done soon, she'll... Her voice broke off. For a moment, Johnson was silent. Then he spoke with quiet strength. Don't cry. Don't worry. I believe help is on the way. Your mother will live. Charity sniffled softly. Amen. Thank you. You always know what to say. He smiled. You're a strong woman. And I like you, Charity. You've touched my heart. I'll take you somewhere beautiful soon. Somewhere peaceful and full of joy. Charity laughed shyly. I like you too, but as a friend for now. Johnson chuckled. That's a good start. The next morning, Charity arrived at the hospital with her mother. As they waited, the doctor came out, beaming with excitement. Charity. Good news. Someone paid for your mother's surgery. Her eyes widened. What? Are you serious? Yes. Just before you arrived, we received a full payment. Surgery, medicine, aftercare. Everything. Who paid? The doctor smiled. We don't know. The payment came from an anonymous organization. All it said was, be thankful to God. Charity froze, hands on her head, overwhelmed. Tears rolled down her cheeks as her heart raced. Tears rolled down Charity's cheeks as her mother, who had been silent all morning, slowly sat up and smiled. Charity, God has remembered us, Mama whispered. Charity hugged her tightly, crying with joy. Yes, Mama, he has. Later that day, Charity stepped out of the hospital and called Johnson right away. Hello, he answered. Mr. Johnson, she said, laughing through her tears. I think you're a prophet. Johnson chuckled. Why do you say that? Someone, some wonderful person, paid for everything. Mama's surgery, her treatment, everything. Just like you said. And the doctor said it happened minutes before I arrived. Isn't that amazing? Johnson felt a deep warmth inside. Didn't I tell you not to worry? I am a man of God. Charity burst into laughter. Pastor Johnson. Johnson laughed too. Evangelist Charity. They both laughed so hard that, for a moment, Charity forgot all the pain. Then his voice softened again. Charity, I want to tell you something. From the first day I saw you, I fell in love. I didn't say anything before because I didn't want to rush you, but I love you. Deeply. There was a moment of silence. Charity's heart skipped. She smiled to herself and shook her head. I love you too, Johnson. But Mr. Loverboy, she teased. Let's pray for Mama's surgery first. He laughed. You are the most beautiful woman I've ever met. Go away, I beg, she said, giggling like a child. You just want to make me blush. I'm serious, Johnson replied. You're beautiful, not just outside, but inside too. I've met many women in my life, but none like you. Charity went quiet for a moment. Then she spoke softly. I wish I could say thank you to whoever paid for Mama's surgery. I wish I could hug them and tell them how much this means. They must have seen your heart and your kindness, Johnson said gently. I pray God will bless them and their families. They didn't just save Mama's life. They gave us hope again. Amen, Johnson replied, looking up at the sky. How he wished he could say, You're welcome. But it was better that she believed it came from heaven. In her world, she deserved to believe in miracles. Charity, he said. Yes. When Mama recovers, I want to take both of you somewhere calm. No noise. Just peace. I'd love that. Mama would too, she said. And maybe someday, I'll say yes to being your woman. I'll hold on to that, he said with a smile. Thank you, she whispered. As they ended the call, Charity looked up and said, God, thank you for the stranger who helped Mama. And thank you for Johnson. Whatever happens, I know you're working behind the scenes. A few weeks after Mama's successful surgery, Johnson knew it was time. The truth had to come out. He stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the collar of his sleek black suit. Clean-shaven, fresh cologne, sharp shoes. He looked every inch a billionaire. His eyes reflected purpose. He stepped into his luxury car, and his driver took him to the hotel where everything began. The same place where he had once been insulted and thrown out. The hotel lobby was busy. Staff moved briskly, attending to guests. Johnson entered slowly, each step calm and firm. He walked straight to the receptionist, a young woman with heavy makeup and an arrogant expression. Good evening, sir, she said, flashing a bright smile. How may I help you? I'm looking for someone, Johnson said gently. Her name is Charity. She works here as a cleaner. Her smile faded. Charity? Why would a man like you want that poor girl? Johnson raised an eyebrow. Yes, Charity. You must be mistaken. You don't look like someone who'd associate with her. I know exactly who I'm looking for. Just then, Charity came out from the hallway holding her mop and bucket. She froze when she saw him. Johnson? What are you doing here, and dressed like this? He smiled. Calm down, my love. I'm here for something important. She looked around, nervous. Please don't joke here. Do you know how expensive this hotel is? We own it now, Johnson replied calmly. At that moment, a man dressed like a lawyer entered and nodded at Johnson. Mr. Desmond, the hotel manager, saw them and rushed over, grinning. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Royal Gold Hotel. We have the best suites. He stopped when he noticed Charity beside Johnson. You again? Dirty cleaner. What are you doing near our guest? Get back to work now. Johnson's smile vanished. His voice was firm. She goes nowhere. Desmond blinked. Sir, is this how you treat your staff? Like animals? And your receptionist, Johnson said, pointing, trying to seduce every rich-looking guest. No, sir, it's not what you think, Desmond stammered. Enough, the lawyer cut in. Let's get to business. My client, Mr. Johnson, now owns this hotel. We're calling for an urgent staff meeting. Gather everyone immediately. The lobby went still. Charity looked at Johnson, confused. Babe. What's happening? He held her hand. You'll understand soon, my love. Just stay with me. Minutes later, all the staff gathered in the meeting hall. Managers, Cleaners, cooks, guards, the receptionist, all whispering in confusion. Johnson stepped forward, calm and confident. "Good afternoon. Most of you may not recognize me. A few weeks ago, I came here dressed as a poor man, looking for a room. I had money in my bag, but how was I treated?" He paused. "You insulted me. Called me dirty. Said I couldn't afford a room in this place. You threatened to call the police. But guess what?" Gasps rippled through the room. Faces shifted. Some began to recognize him. "Yes," he continued. "I am that same man. And months before that day, I had already bought this hotel. I came in disguise, to test the hearts of those working here." He turned slowly. "And you all failed. Except one." He pointed to Charity. "This woman, this angel, gave me food when I had none. She offered me shelter after this hotel threw me out. She asked for nothing. She helped a stranger." Tears ran down Charity's face. She couldn't speak. Turning back to the room, Johnson said, "From today, every staff member who mocked me or looked down on me, you're fired. I don't want that kind of poison near my business." "Sir, please," the receptionist cried. "It wasn't me. It was the devil," Desmond said, falling to his knees. "I beg you. I didn't know." "You're only sorry because you were caught. People like you don't change," Johnson replied. He looked at Charity and smiled warmly. "And to you, my love, I have a surprise." Everyone watched. "From today, you are the new general manager of this hotel." Charity gasped. "What?" "Yes. The position comes with a fully furnished house, a car, and full sponsorship if you want to return to school. You deserve it, and more." Charity covered her mouth in disbelief. Some staff clapped. Others stared in awe. Charity, a cleaner, had just become the highest authority in the building because of her kindness. Johnson looked into her eyes. "I told you. Angels walk among us. And you, Charity. You are one of them." A few days later, Desmond and the former receptionist, Linda, drove home in Desmond's dusty old car. Linda had her legs on the dashboard, face sour, chewing gum as she scrolled through her phone. "You still thinking about that man?" Desmond asked, gripping the wheel. Linda snapped her gum and hissed, "Of course I am. That billionaire." Charity Desmond didn't respond. Linda dropped her legs from the dashboard and leaned forward, her expression serious. "You know what I heard from one of the former staff," she said. "That Johnson's mother wants him to marry Natasha, the senator's daughter. Now that is the kind of woman he should be with, not some cleaner." Desmond nodded slowly. "Yeah, I heard the same thing. That Natasha girl fits him more." Linda smirked. "I'm going to find a way to contact Natasha. She needs to know about this nonsense relationship. I won't just sit and watch that gutter girl marry a billionaire." Desmond chuckled darkly. "You're right. I won't let it happen either." While Desmond and Linda were busy plotting, something more meaningful was unfolding elsewhere. Johnson had taken Charity to meet his parents. They stepped into the grand mansion together. Inside, his father was seated on a brown leather chair, reading the newspaper, while his mother sipped tea beside him. "Dad, Mom," Johnson began with a cheerful tone, "meet Charity, my future wife." His father lowered the paper and rose with a warm smile. He walked over to Charity and shook her hand. "You're welcome, my dear. You seem like someone with a good heart. I like you already." Charity bowed her head politely. Thank you, sir. But Johnson's mother's demeanor changed instantly. She dropped her cup and stood. Never, she said coldly. This cannot happen. Johnson frowned. Why, Mom? She's good and kind. That's enough, his mother said sharply. You've already given her a job. That's more than she deserves. But marriage? Absolutely not. She's not in our class. You will marry Natasha, the senator's daughter. Not someone like her. His father stepped beside Charity. I don't support you on this, he said firmly. I never liked Natasha. She's arrogant and full of herself. She's changed, the mother shouted. She's better now. Johnson looked at his mother calmly. Mom, I respect you, but you can't choose my wife. I love Charity, and I will marry her. Without another word, he took Charity's hand and walked out of the house. In the car, Charity stared at her lap, tears falling silently. I said it wouldn't work, she whispered. I'm not in your class, Johnson. We're poor. He pulled over, turned to her and took her hand. Don't ever say that again, he said softly. Charity, I love you. I will love you until my last breath. I won't leave you. No matter what anyone says. As long as my father supports us, we'll be fine. She sniffled, eyes still wet. Smile for your man, he said, trying to cheer her. She wiped her tears and gave a shy smile. Go away, silly man, she said playfully. That's more like it. He laughed. Now let me go spoil my baby. Spoil me how? She asked, still smiling. We're going shopping, he said proudly. The best shops in the city. Clothes, shoes, bags. Anything you want. Her eyes widened. You're not serious. I'm very serious, my queen, he replied, starting the car again. From now on, you'll be treated like royalty. You are my queen. As they drove, laughter and love filled the air. Charity held his hand tightly. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Neither wealth, class, nor rejection. Only love. The next morning, Linda sat in her cramped room, phone in hand, jealousy burning inside her. Suddenly, a memory surfaced. Months ago, Natasha had come to Royal Gold Hotel with Mama Johnson for a charity event. As a receptionist then, Linda had watched Natasha sign the VIP guest book and had secretly copied her number into a notebook. She rushed to her drawer and pulled it out. There it was, Natasha's number. Smiling coldly, she picked up her phone and dialed it with shaky fingers. Hello? A sharp voice answered. Am I speaking to Natasha, the senator's daughter? Who is this? My name is Linda. I used to work at Royal Gold Hotel. I have information you should hear. It's about Johnson. Natasha's tone changed instantly. What about Johnson? He's planning to marry a poor hotel cleaner, Linda said with venom. Her name is Charity. A cleaner? Natasha repeated, stunned. Yes. His mother's not happy about it either. I just thought you should know before it's too late. The line went silent then, click. Natasha had ended the call. Linda dropped the phone and laughed darkly. Let's see how far that girl goes now. At his office, Johnson sat behind his wide wooden desk reviewing documents when, without warning, the door burst open. Natasha marched in, face like fire. So this is who you've become, she shouted. Johnson looked up, surprised. What are you doing here, Natasha? She ignored him and dropped her handbag on the chair. You're really planning to embarrass me like this? Marrying a cleaner? A poor low-class girl. He stood slowly, keeping calm. I'll ask once more. What are you doing in my office? I came to stop you, she snapped. You can't marry that girl. You're mine. Your mother said we were perfect together. We broke up 5 months ago, he replied firmly. I told you it was over. I don't care what you said. I don't accept it, she yelled. You don't leave a senator's daughter for a nobody. I won't let you. In your dreams, Natasha, Johnson said. Her face turned red with rage. You used to love me. I tried to love you, he said, his voice steady. But you were too proud. You insulted my staff, my father, even me. That's not love. She pointed at him, her hand trembling. You think that girl is better than me? You think she can handle this life? Yes, he answered without hesitation. Because she has what you don't. Kindness, humility, a true heart. Natasha let out a bitter laugh. She'll embarrass you. People will laugh. I don't care what people say, Johnson replied. I care about peace. And she gives me peace. Tears welled in her eyes, but she held them back. You're making a mistake. No, he said. My mistake was staying with you for too long. She hissed, grabbed her bag, and stormed toward the door. Don't think I'll give up, she warned. I'll fight for you. You belong to me. I belong to Charity, he said quietly. Now leave my office. She gave him one final hateful look and left. As the door closed, Johnson exhaled deeply, running a hand through his hair. He didn't feel hurt. He felt free. He picked up his phone and dialed. Hello, babe, Charity answered cheerfully. Hi, love, he replied. Guess who just stormed into my office? Who? Natasha. Charity went silent. Oh no. What did she say? She's still claiming I'm hers, he said with a tired laugh. But I told her clearly. I love someone else. Charity was quiet for a moment. Thank you for standing by me. I'll always stand by you, my queen, he replied. You're the only woman I want. Charity smiled. Don't make me cry this afternoon. I'll wipe your tears with kisses later, Johnson teased. Charity giggled. You're not serious. I'm very serious, he said with a gentle smile. You've changed my life, Charity. And very soon, I'm going to do something that will change yours too. One afternoon, while Charity was cleaning in her small kitchen, she heard a loud knock on the door. Drying her hands quickly, she opened it with a nervous heart. Standing before her was Johnson's mother, dressed in elegant clothes and dark sunglasses, flanked by 2 bodyguards. Charity's heart skipped a beat. She greeted politely. Good afternoon, Ma. Without a word or a smile, the woman walked in, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. She looked around the modest apartment with visible displeasure. The bodyguards remained outside, closing the door behind her. Charity stood awkwardly and offered, Please have a seat, Ma. But she didn't sit. Instead, she opened her bag and pulled out a white envelope, placing it on the table with purpose. I came here because I want to talk to you, she said coldly. Let me get straight to the point. I don't want you to marry my son. Charity's heart sank, but she remained silent. There's 50 million naira in this envelope, she continued, pushing it closer. If you promise to leave Johnson forever, the money is yours. You can start a business, live abroad, wherever you choose. You'll never need to work again. Just disappear from his life. Charity stared at the envelope. It was more money than she had ever imagined. Her hands trembled slightly, and tears welled in her eyes. Looking up, she said quietly, "Ma, I love Johnson. He means everything to me. I can't walk away. Not for money, not for a house, not for anything. If he tells me to leave, I will. But until then, nothing will separate us." Johnson's mother looked stunned. "Do you know what you're saying? That's 50 million naira. A chance of a lifetime. How can you choose a man over this?" Charity wiped her tears. "Because money isn't everything. I've been looked down on my whole life. Your son saw something in me when no one else did. He loved me for who I am. I'd rather be poor with him than rich and empty." The older woman's tone sharpened. "You're foolish and stubborn. Do you think love is enough? Do you know what life as a billionaire's wife entails? Parties, media, constant travel. Are you ready for all that?" "I will learn," Charity answered calmly. "I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to try. I'm not afraid." Johnson's mother paced the room, frustrated. "What will people say? My friends? Society? They'll laugh at me for allowing this marriage." Charity stood her ground. "Let them laugh. We can't control people's mouths. But we can choose who makes us happy. And Johnson chose me." There was silence. Johnson's mother studied Charity, hoping she would change her mind. But Charity stood firm, eyes filled with tears, yet unshaken. "Take the money," she said again, her voice softer now. "Please. You don't know what you're walking into. It's not too late to leave." Charity shook her head. "Please, Ma. I'm also begging you. Don't break our hearts. If Johnson says he doesn't want me, I'll go. But if not, I'm staying." With a long sigh, Johnson's mother picked up her bag and the envelope. "You're just as stubborn as my son," she muttered before storming out, her bodyguards trailing behind. Charity sank into a chair, shaken but proud. She wiped her eyes and whispered, "God, please let love win." A few minutes later, Johnson called. "Baby, are you okay? I had a strange feeling." Charity smiled, still wiping tears. "I'm fine. Your mother came to see me." There was a pause. "What did she say?" "She offered me money. A lot of it, to leave you." He was quiet for a moment, then asked softly, "And what did you tell her?" "I told her you're my world. I'll never leave you unless you tell me to." His voice was warm. "Charity, I will never say that. I love you so much." "I love you too, Johnson," she whispered, her heart full of emotion. 2 days passed, but the air remained tense. Johnson, angry about what had happened, called his mother. "I respect you, Mom, but if you ever try something like that again, I'll cut you off." She said nothing, simply ended the call. To ease Charity's mind, Johnson planned a surprise. One Saturday morning, he called her. "My queen, dress up. I'm coming to pick you." "Pick me? For what?" she asked, smiling. "For peace, for joy, for love," he replied. Charity dressed in a light blue gown and simple sandals. Her neat hair and natural beauty made Johnson's heart leap when he saw her. They drove, laughing and singing along to the music. Eventually, they arrived at a quiet garden far from the city's chaos. Flowers swayed in the breeze, and birds chirped from the trees. "This place is so peaceful," Charity said as they stepped out. "Not as peaceful as you make me feel," Johnson replied. She laughed. "Ah, this man again. They sat under a large tree, talking for hours about life and love. Then Johnson grew quiet. He stood, reached into his pocket, and knelt down. Charity gasped. "What are you doing?" "Charity, from the moment you gave me food and shelter, I knew you were different. You saw a person, not poverty. You're kind, humble, brave, and loving. I don't want another day without calling you mine. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her face. "Oh my God, I love you," she whispered. "Say yes," he begged. She nodded through happy tears. "Yes. Yes, I will." He slipped the ring onto her finger and hugged her tight as the wind gently swept around them, like heaven smiling on their love. Elsewhere, Natasha was consumed with rage. Nothing she tried worked. Feeling betrayed, she stormed into Mama Johnson's house. "You promised me this marriage," she yelled. Mama Johnson, tired and defeated, replied, "I tried, Natasha. But my son has made his choice. And his father supports him. You told me to fight. I didn't tell you to cause trouble," she said sternly. "You went too far." Defeated, Natasha walked away. Back at Charity's apartment, Johnson arrived with more surprises. "My love," he said, holding her hand, "we're moving." "To where?" she asked, confused. He handed her a paper. "To your new house. Fully furnished. With a garden for Mama." "What?" He smiled. "And there's more. A car is waiting outside for you." Charity burst into tears. "Johnson, I don't know what to say. Just say you're happy." "I'm more than happy," she said. "You've changed my life." "No," he replied, holding her close. "You changed mine first." That evening, they moved into their new home. Mama was overwhelmed with joy. She took Charity's hand and said, "My daughter, God will bless you." "I'm so proud." Johnson smiled at them both. "Let's start planning this wedding. It's going to be the most beautiful the country has ever seen." Meanwhile, Linda, the jealous ex-receptionist, sat on her small bed, staring at the pregnancy test in her hand. 2 red lines. Positive. She blinked, hoping it was a mistake, but it wasn't. "I'm pregnant," she whispered, then smiled faintly. "Maybe this baby will bring us closer. Maybe Desmond will change." She rushed out to find Desmond. But at his compound, the gate was locked. The security guard came out slowly. "I need to see Desmond," she said. "You haven't heard?" he replied. "Heard what?" "He traveled abroad 2 nights ago." "What do you mean?" she asked, panic setting in. "With another woman. Fair, with 2 kids. They've been together a while. He said he's starting a new life." Linda staggered back. "What? I'm pregnant." The guard looked at her with pity. "Too late, madam. He's gone." Linda walked away slowly, collapsed by the roadside, and cried bitterly. "He used me and left me," she sobbed. Then she touched her belly. "Don't worry, my baby. I won't leave you." Far away, Natasha sat in an airport lounge, her pain hidden behind sunglasses and a wide hat. She scrolled endlessly through photos of Johnson and Charity's engagement. "How did I lose him?" she whispered. She remembered every insult, every time she mocked Charity, and the pride that blinded her. Now she was alone. Back home, something magical was unfolding. It was Johnson and Charity's wedding day. Charity stood in front of the mirror, dressed in white. Her mother adjusted the veil with a proud smile. "You look like an angel." Charity smiled back, eyes moist. "Mama, we made it." "Yes," her mother replied, holding her hand. "God is good." At the garden venue, Johnson stood in a blue suit, his father by his side. Even his mother came, quiet, but present. Guests filled the chairs. Flowers lined the aisle. The music started. Charity walked toward Johnson, holding her bouquet. His smile grew with each step. When she reached him, they held hands, their eyes locked. "Johnson, do you take Charity as your wife?" "I do. With all my heart." "Charity, do you take Johnson as your husband?" "I do." "Forever," she said, tears of joy streaming. They exchanged rings and kissed as the guests clapped and cheered. After the wedding, they moved into the mansion Johnson built. Peace, joy, and love filled the home. Charity opened her free health center to help poor women and children. Johnson supported her dreams fully. Together, they laughed, prayed, and grew. Their love became a powerful reminder. Never look down on anyone. You never know who God will use to change your life. As for Linda and Natasha, they learned the hard way. Jealousy, pride, and greed can never conquer love. Only true, humble love stands the test of time. So, dear viewers, what lesson did you take from this emotional journey? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the story, give it a thumbs up, share it, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, so you never miss our latest updates. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.